Good evening, this is Jim Rhoades, and tonight this is my first experience in going live and doing a video. So I'm excited to share some concepts that I've been asked to share with this group, which are about nutrition. A little bit of my background. First of all, I've been in nutrition for almost 4 decades. For 20 years, I was the, worked in the food industry as a consultant for 23 years of one of the largest food developers in all of California, and they provide a lot of our fresh fruits and vegetables. And in that, I learned a lot about nutrition. I have taught school, high school and college, and I have taught in the health arena. So I've got 3 decades as a nutritionist. Going on a little more than that. I got involved with isogenics because of what I saw it do. Let's see, I'm reading all these little things. I've never done this before too, but I better just stick with my script or else I'll get carried away with fun things reading. Everything in my life, including the professors of nutrition and doctors of nutrition, master herbalists, many of the people that I had worked with, both in the college and university setting, helped me determine my current life. I became the president and CEO of an international nutritional company and worked with a board of directors who were biochemists, doctors of nutrition, MDs, PhDs, several universities in several countries. And for a decade, I sat at the feet of these incredible mentors and was taught by them how truly incredible our bodies are. And at the very least, if we could tune into our bodies and give them what they need, they could give us what we're looking for, which is the health, the strength, the energy, mental clarity, and everything else. I have a favorite joke at my age as I'm coming up on my 70th here, not too far out in the future. And that is, I want to live till I die. I don't want to die and then hang around an extra 10 years, have somebody else feed me my pablum and change my behind. In order to achieve my goal of being able to live long, but more importantly, live well during those years that I live, it's so fun being my age and being able to walk into a room and remember why I walked in, to be able to name all of my kids and grandkids. And by the way, I'm the father of 8 beautiful children. I now have 24 grandchildren. 23 of them, I claim, I'm the richest grandfather in all of southern Utah because 23 of my 24 grandchildren live within about 2 miles of my front door. And so on any daily basis, I see anywhere from 2 to 10 of them. And they are the joy of my life. And why am I involved with nutrition is because I want to leave a heritage and a legacy for them. I know that if we treat these bodies correctly and observe 4 quick rules, we can have so much better health, so much better strength, and not die from a degenerative disease. That's my personal belief, and I've been around long enough to see that happen for a lot of people. You can change up these 4 things. 1, proper nutrition. That's what I'm going to talk about. 2, exercise is a must. Yes, we do need to do some form of exercise, hopefully 30 minutes, 5 to 6 times a week. And 3rd, we need some form of stress management because stress is the silent thief of our health. It can sneak up on a person who is reasonably healthy with just a cold, get under extreme stress, and the cold migrates to something called pneumonia, which is life-threatening. And 4th, we need to get enough proper rest to regenerate because our body is regenerating at the rate of unbelievable 1 billion new cells every single minute. So the body is a miracle. If you give it what it needs, it can give you back what you're looking for, which is your strength, energy, mental clarity, sleeping better, and being trim. So I am going to address the 5 pillars of nutrition and health that Isogenics put together. Isogenics is a solution-based company. They see the needs in our world today and address them with things that actually work. Now, the uniqueness of the isogenics foods, and that's what they are, nutritional foods, are that they're not a medicine. They don't cure or heal disease. They weren't designed as a medicine. They were designed to feed the body everything it needs and allow it to do its best job of keeping you strong and healthy, which it was designed to do. And I would like to take credit for isogenics coming into our life. I didn't do that. That is my sweetheart, Kathy. And our story is really incredible. Approximately 14 years ago, back in 2002, Kathy was called by my aunt, Loree Nooner, who said, "Kathy, do you want to join me with this new cutting-edge technology of cleansing the body of impurities and then flooding the body with nutrition?" And people are having results of dropping pounds and inches they don't want, as well as feeling better, healthy. And thank goodness, finally she agreed, and she went on the program. She dropped 27 pounds. And as those pounds came off, her health improved. Obesity has become a serious problem in the United States. They estimate between 70 and 80% of the United States is currently overweight, with 1/2 of those people being obese, which is life-threatening. And a lot of people are unaware of that. It increases your biggest problem, which is the #1 killer in the United States, which is cardiovascular. For every 5 extra pounds on your body, your heart has to pump blood the distance of to the moon and back every 6 months. So if it's 10 pounds, it's every 3 months. If it's 20 pounds, it's every month. And if it's more than that, we get the picture. Why 1 out of every 2 deaths in the United States is from a cardio disease. The #2 leading cause of disease is cancer. And cancer rates have gone from 1 out of 12 back in 1955 to 1 out of 2.2 in 2005, which is every other one of us. Well, we have an immune system that is built to defend us from that. It's built to help us with a common cold, with the flu, with pneumonia, and yes, with cancer. And obviously, if cancer's gone from 1 out of 12 to 1 out of 2.2, something's gone wrong with our immune system. And I was actually asked to speak at Harvard a few years back on the status of our food raised in America and why I advocate for supplements of nutrients that are missing in our standard foods. And as I addressed what is missing in our foods, there are 4 key elements. 1, essential amino acids. You have to have those essential ones from your food every day. Essential fatty acids, essential vitamins, and the last one, essential minerals. Those 4 things the body cannot create. They have to come in a raw form in our foods. And unfortunately, of the 4, we get 3 of them in good quantity, and the 4th one has started in the early 50s, and that's those essential minerals. When we were so smart as to discover something called pesticide, it did a great thing for the farmer because it had protected his produce so he had more to take to market. Unfortunately, the pesticide also fell upon the topsoil, and as it soaked down through the topsoil, it killed all the living organisms that came to attack the food, but it also killed all the living organisms in the topsoil. So we basically sterilized the topsoil without realizing, without those organisms there, which are the microorganisms and the bacteria and the earthworms, there would be no conversion of a rock mineral into a water-soluble mineral so that the plant could uptake it. As a consequence, the majority of all the foods that are commercially grown today are missing huge quantities of these trace minerals that we need even to absorb our vitamins. And as a consequence, we're in trouble health-wise until we can nourish the body with what it needs so it can build a good defensive system. How many of you would like to have the healthiest immune system in the world? Well, I personally do, and I want all of my children and all of my 24 grandchildren to, so I make a simple request and then I enforce it. And the request is, starting at sippy cup age, I want each of my grandchildren on one of these incredible liquid meals, which is nothing more than a milkshake, for those of you who know. And it's easy to make. You add a scoop or two to water and some ice, and it's delicious. And you mix it in a couple of seconds, and it goes in the sippy cup. And I am a master at making shakes. And all 23 of those who are old enough to ask for a sippy cup when they're at Grandpa's house get some. Why? Because I want them to have healthy immune systems, healthy digestive systems, healthy skeletal systems, and it's got all of the building blocks in that shake. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But what I saw Isagenix do for my family, specifically my wife, and now that I've been with the product for 14 years, helped me make a decision to leave my former company and join them after 6 months, because the results was that real, and it was that impressive and that unique. After all the things we had tried for my wife with very little results, both from the MD side as well as from the natural side, we were losing the battle. When she went on this product, dropped that 27 pounds, that was impressive. That was incredible, because she had a hard time losing even 2 pounds. But what was more impressive is how her energy came up, how her mental clarity came up, how she felt, and what she was able to do by getting up and exercising and adding all the rest to her life. So it's now 14 years later, and she's healthier now than she was when she was 54. So all of those things caused me to join her in the Isagenix adventure of a lifetime. And what an adventure it's been. Over that period of time, I've watched many, many wonderful things happen. Again, Isagenix didn't heal or cure any disease. What it did is it fed her body needed nutrients that must have been missing. And it has another technology, and this is where we get into the 5 pillars that I'll quickly go through. Pillar number 1. First of all, you need to know who our master formulator is. His name is John Anderson. People ask me this all the time. What makes Isagenix different than all of these other awesome companies that are out there? And I will agree, number 1, there are some awesome companies with some great, great science and good people building good products. That's a given, okay? However, John Anderson has worked not with just 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 or even 100 or 200, but 600 different nutraceutical companies hired him to help them build their products and their product line and improve their product line. Over a period of 30 years, he worked with 600 different scientific communities. Now, these were the best of the best, the cutting-edge companies that could afford him. And he did great work, but what he learned was massive. And when he came out of retirement, back in 2001 or so, he said, I came out of retirement to do something no one has ever done, and that's to build a lifestyle food that would be good for a 4-year-old and be just as good for a 94-year-old. And it would have a few things no other product I've ever seen on the market do. Number 1, we would have some cleansing technology that would help the body go in and clean out the garbage. He had a simple thought. Why pour good nutrition on top of a garbage pile and hope some actually soaked in and got into the cell where it belonged? Why not remove the garbage pile first? He built the first ever, in my lifetime, full body cleanse. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means it has specific herbs and specific nutrients that go in and help remove the impurities that the body is constantly trying to discharge on its own, but becomes overwhelmed. So it's going after water-soluble toxins and fat-soluble toxins. And it takes some real technology of knowing how to combine herbs and botanicals in the right blend to be able to help cleanse the colon, the liver, the kidney, the lymph system, the blood system, and all of the cells of the body. And at the same time, nourish the body with nutrients that are often missing in your diet. those minerals. Yes, it's loaded in the Cleanse for Life, pillar number 1. That product is a full decade ahead of anybody's out there. And I know other companies have cleanses, but nothing compared, not even close. So that's what really sets it apart, number 1. When you can take the garbage out of the body, its ability to run in a clean environment is pretty obvious. And that's exactly what John accomplishes. Number 2, we have a meal, or a meal replacement, that is incredible. It has, in my opinion, it's the perfect meal for the nutrient needs of the entire body. It has every one of those 4 things I mentioned, and then some. It has all of the essential amino acids. And those amino acids are the base building block of protein. The protein breaks down into amino acids for every cell of the body. Number 2, it has all of the fatty acids needed, the essential fatty acids. And those are your oils and omegas. It has all of the essential vitamins, your spark of life. And last but not least, it's got all of those minerals, including the missing ones. And great supply from plant organic life. And that makes them water soluble. That means that when John secured this source of plant minerals, he was able to take it out through cold water extraction and dry it and put it in his powders and in his liquids, so that when we consume this shake, we have 100% of all 4 of those key nutrients that are often missing in our other foods. What does that do? Well, it builds healthy digestive systems. It helps build all of your organs and your glands. It helps feed the nutrients needed for brain cells and everything else in the body. So, second, it has its own delivery system of live enzymes. Now, enzymes are our best friends. We mostly only know about digestive enzymes, but enzymes do tons of things inside the body. But these enzymes are very specific for breaking things down into their usable units and then carrying them inside the body and delivering them where they're needed. So it has its own delivery system. That is incredible. Now, the uniqueness of it also is when you're taking one of these meal replacement shakes, it only has 250 calories. So this perfect meal became ideal for people who need to lose pounds and inches safely while protecting lean body tissue and muscle mass. In fact, I can tell you story after story where people have put on muscle at the same while dropping fat mass. So this is the perfect storm if you're looking to trim and to build muscle mass at the same time. I know of no finer food on the planet. That's why athletes who get on this rage about it. We have older athletes who thought they were too old to compete anymore, suddenly coming back in and winning, doing better than when they were younger. Part of that is due to nutrition. I don't care how many hours you spend at the gym. You cannot get on a treadmill and outrun a poor diet. Diet is absolutely essential along with your exercise and your water. Okay? So the cleansing technology works for athletes, obviously, because they're eating more food, they're breathing more air, and they're drinking more water or liquids. They have more impurities going in. They have even bigger needs for cleansing, if that makes sense to anyone here. Second, you've got these superfoods with the low-calorie intake with super nutrients, okay? I call it, again, the perfect storm. That's pillar number 2, the isolene shakes and the bars. We have pillar number 3, and this is John Anderson, our formulator, who started Isogenics with Jim and Kathy Coover way back in 2002 when he was inspired to come out of retirement and build this and convinced Jim and Kathy to join him to share it with the world. And boy, did they ever. And they've done such a masterful job. It's got the best compensation plan on the planet, bar none, that is fair and absolutely incredible to all of us who are sharing this with anyone we care about and for and with. So long story short, this third pillar was built specifically to help de-stress the body, okay, at cellular level. It's called Ionic Supreme. The Ionic Supreme has over 104 active ingredients in it. What John used when he built this product, knowing that you would only maybe need 1 ounce a day of this liquid, and it now comes in powder form also, you just add the water to it, that this 1 ounce would have the nutrients in it to get to all 100 trillion cells of the body and find those cells that needed the most help. Because some of these herbs that he uses are called adaptogens. And just like the word sounds, they adapt to the highest needs of the body, go directly there, and nourish and de-stress those areas of the body. Now, if it's for an athlete, it's going to be obviously the muscles that have had a large workout. Say they just ran a marathon and you got to rebuild the muscles of the legs and the lungs. That's exactly where it'll go. But if it's, say, a student who just took their midterm, then it's going to go to the brain to help relax and de-stress that. And people, it only takes once to use it to get converted. And I think that may be something I need to at least mention. When I was considering leaving my former company as their CEO, that's pretty serious. My board of directors asked me if I'd fallen out of bed and hit my head, because we had just had a home run with my company. And I said, no, I've just found a product that I have never seen the equal to. And they said, well, what does it do that ours doesn't do? And I said, a lot. But one of the things that it does is that people who use it within generally 3 days, 72 hours, not 2 weeks, not 2 months, not 3 months, which is what our product took to really see success, but within 3 days, 72 hours, people are seeing, feeling, and noticing a difference, whether it's pounds and inches melting off, whether it's mental clarity showing up, whether it's sleeping better, whether it's recovery from an athletic event. All of those things are showing up in these people's lives. I interviewed 50 people, asking them why they liked Isagenix and how long it took them to decide they were going to stick with this. And they said 2 days of the shakes as meal replacements, that's 2 meals replaced and a 3rd regular meal for 2 days in a row. And then on the 3rd day, a full day cleanse. By the time that 3rd day was up, I was hooked. And I say, so you're telling me that these foods are addictive? And they said, yes. They addict you to feeling good. Better than I remember. I got my best night's sleep. I woke up with energy to spare. I put my tennis shoes on and went for a run for the first time in years. I get to work and I don't hit that afternoon slump after lunch. All kinds of things like that were just showing up, right, left, and in between. People were reporting all of a sudden I don't feel that heartburn I used to have, and I don't even understand how it's working, but I definitely have noticed a difference. So that helped me make the decision some 14 years ago, and it was a great decision. So pillar number 3, 1 ounce of this for athletes, 2, maybe even 3 ounces a day, especially during workout. Major impact on them. Pillar number 4. Maybe before I leave this, there's a group of people that I have, this is designed as meal replacements for people who want to lose weight, gain energy, put on lean body, take off fat mass. All of those things show up. Age more gracefully and not age so quickly. Have all the mental clarity that we need to have. Those sort of things just start showing up when the nutrients get inside your body. It is that incredible. Well, long story short, I got introduced to a young man who was a special needs young man, and he had had a remarkable experience with his mother sharing the Isagenix cleanse. Now he was 19, and the replenishment meals. And he went on a program, and suddenly his mental and cognitive reasoning improved dramatically. And that was my first experience with special needs and this product. Since then, I've worked with nearly 100 special needs children, and I mostly have worked, of course, with their parents, and most of these are young boys. And there's from the high spectrum of being able to function to the low end where they're not verbal, or they won't look you in the eyes and those sort of things, and with nothing more than a change up in their diet, which is lowering the amount of sugars and carbs. And I know that they have very picky palates. They have texture sensitivity as well as flavor. And sometimes these products don't light up their day, and they don't want to drink a milkshake. And so you have to get creative and maybe put some of the powder in their pancake mix, which they'll generally eat a pancake. And to get them to have just 1 ounce of cleanse juice, say at 8 years old. And watch what happens with that 1 ounce of cleanse juice. Now, you can put it in grape juice, or you can put it in anything but citrus juice. And what we ended up having to do is, when we had it in the grape juice, we would freeze the grape juice into a popsicle if the child wouldn't drink it. And in a popsicle, when it's frozen, they can't taste it, and they will ask for their popsicle after they eat their pancake. And the improvement is enough to just, if I let some of the moms talk to you on this line, and I'll have to interview 1 or 2 of them for you, they just go, oh, all the difference in the world. My child now is the poster child at his school. Some moms said, my child no longer needs a special needs school. He's qualified to go to school, normal school, and we didn't know if that would happen in his lifetime. So those sort of things start showing up, and you get pretty darn excited, knowing that nutrition will always do what nutrition does. That is, feed the body what it needs and let it do its best job. And these foods are for real. This isolene shake is real. This cleanse is real. That 1 ounce of cleanse for those little special needs kids has made a huge difference. They can go a day or 2 without the shake, without any backslide, but just go 1 day without that ounce of cleanse, and suddenly, some of their old traits come back. So I can just throw that in about those 2 products for our children 8 years and up. It's wonderful. Now, a 12-year-old is actually able to do a cleanse as well as, of course, meal replacements. So it is designed. 3 things all of you need to know. If you're new on this call and you haven't heard of isogenics before, you need to know these 3 things. Number 1, is this food safe? It is absolutely safe. It is food. That's what you need to know, okay? It's doctor recommended. Now, when you're changing your diet or when you're changing your exercise, do you need to consult with your doctor if you're under their care? Absolutely, especially if you're on medications. That is important to make sure you realize that. But this is just nutrition, so it is doctor recommended. Number 2, is it cost effective? Can people afford this food? And the answer again, yes, absolutely, because it replaces another meal. $3, the wholesale cost for a whole meal. Now, you can't do much better than that at the Golden Arches Supper Club. $3 for everything your body needs, minus the calories and minus all the sugar, okay? Now, the sweeteners that they put in the shakes, particularly the whey shakes, are fructose. And this fructose comes from 3 sources, and that's apple, pear, and beet. And those are low glycemic, so it helps our friends with the 3rd leading cause of death in the U.S., which is diabetes. Low glycemic foods, that's what they thrive on. And this fits and helps them drop their excess weight, if that's what they're trying to do. And I've seen major impact on my friends who have blood sugar issues. Again, does it cure things? No. But does it allow you to have your doctor faint and say, gosh, we can lower some of the things that you've needed to be on for years? And I see that happen all the time. And many grateful people that I have mentored a little bit in that arena. Okay? Pillar number 4, real quick. Pillar number 4 is our Ageless Essentials. And people ask me this one question: why would I need extra vitamins and minerals if I'm already taking those first three things? And the truth is, people who are extremely healthy, which I hope you are, probably can get away with those top three, and that's all they would ever need. However, there are many of us that are a little older, like me. See, one of the capsules in that Ageless Essential pack, and it comes in two little packs: an AM pack that you take all these vitamins in the morning and minerals, and then this PM pack, so it's split up so your body can absorb more, are specific for things that our body slows down in producing. For instance, there's an Ageless Active capsule in there that has CoQ10. Now, my body produced ample amounts of CoQ10 up through about the age of 30. And starting at 30, it drops about 2% per year thereafter. So at my age, I'm producing 1/2 the amount of CoQ10 that I did when I was 30, which simply the best way to say what CoQ10 is, it's so good for the heart, so good for the brain, so good for the muscles. But it's like the spark plug wires inside of all your cells. Would you like to put brand new spark plugs and spark plug wires into 100 trillion cells with one capsule every day? That's exactly what that little capsule does. It's also loaded with vitamin D3, a vitamin that many of us are very deficient in. And the reason is vitamin D3 is created by the skin when we're in the sun. But we're very aware the skin cancer is prevalent, so we put on our hats, we put on our long sleeve shirts, or we put on sunblock. We're way under in the vitamin D3. If we don't have enough D3, our body cannot absorb calcium. Even if we're getting huge amounts of calcium in our foods or supplements, it will not pull it into the body without the cofactor of D3 with it. Suddenly, in that little capsule, it's like being in the sun for 6 to 8 hours a day. So we have plenty of D3. We have resveratrol in that same capsule, and that is so good for the heart. It is so good for the telomeres, which I'll get into here in a moment, and the brain. We have the best vitamin C in there. And a vitamin C is one that the body can't store. You need a new amount of vitamin C on a daily basis. And this is the best source. It has 3 different sources of vitamin C in one capsule, allowing it to break down at a slower time. So it's like a time release, one every 24 hours. Super idea. Then they have the women's essentials that are very specific for the gender of women and all of the reproductive organs that really keep them healthy and hormone balance. They have the men's essentials, which is good for the reproductive organs and especially the prostate. They have our omegas, which is a great blend of omega-3 and omega-6. And the key is the ratio of 6 to 3. 3 being the essential one, that's your omega, from fish oil. And in order for our body to absorb and utilize it, you need the correct amount of 6 to go with it. So we got the fish oil for 3, and for our 6 we get borage oil and primrose oil and flaxseed oil in perfect balance so that it goes in. And that lubricates everything, makes the brain, the heart, everything work better. So those are just some of the things that are in pillar number 4, our Ageless Essentials. Some of the nutrients that are in there, like the vitamin C and others, are also great antioxidants. And what's an antioxidant? Well, it's something that slows down the aging process. Even all scientists know that. If you can stop the stress at cellular level by using an antioxidant and stopping the oxidative stress from breaking it down prematurely, you will age more gracefully and live a lot longer and a lot healthier. And now pillar number 5, which is off the chart. I need at least an hour to even get into this. But you have 100 trillion cells. In every cell you have DNA, and the DNA is made up of chromosomes. These chromosomes make up that little twisted ladder called the DNA. When a cell replicates itself, it rebuilds another cell with that same model of DNA so that it replaces the one that died, okay? Now, the ends of the chromosomes are protected with something called the telomere. The telomeres, when you're born, have 10,000 bases on them, and every time a cell replicates, that base shortens, and it shortens, and it shortens. And when it hits 5,000 bases, it can't replicate anymore. That's called old age. Okay? If you could protect that telomere so it shortened slower or not at all, you could protect that telomere, you wouldn't age. And that's the truth. And you have cells in your body that don't get old. They're called eternal cells. They're in your reproductive cells. That's why a 30-year-old couple can give birth to a child when the beginning cell from the father and the beginning cell from the mother should be 30 years old. So that child should be born with 30-year-old cells, and they're not. Does that make sense? And it's because of something that is released within your reproductive cells called telomerase. Telomerase is an enzyme that comes out that when the telomere is shortened, when it replicates, it loses some of its vital information. It comes out and builds it back to its original length. Then it replicates and shortens. Telomerase comes out, builds it back, shortens, builds it back. It's called an eternal cell. It never gets old. Well, Dr. Bill Andrews discovered through 300,000 experiments how to release telomerase in all of the cells of the body. And in 2009, his formula went to 3 different universities where they injected this formula into mice that were old, equivalent to like 80 years old, our age. So their hearts had shrunk, their brains had shrunk, their bones were brittle, their skin was saggy, baggy, and they were on their last legs. And this telomerase was injected into all of their body, and suddenly in every perimeter, they got young. The problem was that these chemicals that was in the formula have harsh side effects, one of which, of course, is probably death. So it couldn't be used for humans. John Anderson collaborated with Dr. Bill Andrews and said, instead of chemicals that have bad side effects, let's use herbs and botanicals which only bless the body. And product isogenesis, or product B as it formerly was named, was born. Now, we cannot claim that we're reversing anybody's age because we haven't got enough scientific data behind it to prove that yet. Science will catch up with us. But what we can claim is this. We know that we have more in our product B isogenesis product to nourish the telomeres than anybody has ever had in any formula since life. And we have that product available. Now, they're in the AM, PM pack also if you buy them that way. 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. And that product is just at the beginning of what it's going to be able to help us do. Now, I'm looking at my clock, and I know I'm right up on the time. I just want to tell you this. The proof of what I've just shared with you is simple. You don't have to take my 40 years of experience in the nutritional arena to tell you that this product is unique and does what it's supposed to do, which is nourishes the body, cleanses the body, gives you the environment you want to live in, gives you the nutrients that are often missing that your body needs for your health of your immune system, for your health of your digestive system, and there's 100 reasons that it does all this. And that's going to take a little more research on your side. And you're welcome to look at something called isogenicshealth.net. isogenicshealth.net. And you can read the scientific discoveries and all of the tests that this product has gone through from some pretty major universities and testing centers. It's remarkable. There is no product. We're a decade ahead of most any other programs out there that I'm familiar with. And I've been in this industry coming up on 4 decades. Here's what I invite you to do. Get back to the person who shared this information with you and say, okay, no risk. This guy, Jim Rhoades, said I have 0 to risk. I can get a 30-day package. I can get the President's Pack, which will give me samples of all of the best things you've got, which is what I highly recommend you want to do. And for 30 days, I can use this food. And at the end of 30 days, if I don't see an improvement in my energy, I don't see pounds or inches melting off of my body, if I don't see mental improvement, if I don't sleep better, if there's something doesn't show up after using your foods, you can get a refund for all my food. I would have eaten for a whole month on isogenics, and I'll send my money back. I'm going to suggest the best way to know if this works or not is put it to the real test. And they say the test of the pudding is putting it in here. I would highly suggest, if you want to see if this is everything I just said it is, and I am telling you I believe it is. I have seen it thousands of times over the last 14 years, bless many, many, many people. Then all you've got to do is say to your friend, get me this, give me a chance to try it out. Nothing to lose but a few pounds that you may not want, gain some energy, look better, age better, and have good health. You guys, thank you for enduring me. I know all kinds of people are saying stuff to me, and I haven't even looked at one single thing. Thank you for joining us tonight. I think all I have to do is push the finish button, and then I can say goodnight, and I hope it records it. I didn't see a way to record it, but if it gets recorded, we'll post it so we can share it with anybody who wasn't able to make it on the call. So thank you, Eric. You made it through for me, and I am so grateful. It turned out Autism World right side up. Yeah, let's do that. I'm reading all these fun comments. The more you learn, the better it gets. Boy, can I back that up. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll have to do this again sometime. I want to especially thank my friend Jill Berth, who has been a hero for me from the beginning, watching her drop all of that weight and stay so healthy as an advocate for this product. She has blessed so many people's lives, and she's one of my heroes, and I adopted her. She calls me Dad, even though I'm sure she has a wonderful father. So thank you all for being here tonight. I hope to say hi again to all of you sometime. I'll be in Montana if any of you are from up there watching this tonight, and I'm going to push